Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over a potential wildcard draft for Game Week 7. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment. Are you thinking of wildcarding this week? Subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So starting things off, in goal we do have Raya and Ward. I know that the fixtures looming for Raya aren't great, with Liverpool at home, Newcastle away and Chelsea away on the horizon, but they do have Southampton at home this week, which is arguably the best fixture of the season. Southampton do not look good at all at the moment, and they obviously have just beat PSG, and their XG conceded in that game was like ridiculously low, so hopefully it should be a clean sheet against Southampton. But we saw what Leicester did. But at the same time, Arsenal are the best defence in the league at this point in time, and I just think Raya is a set and forget goalkeeper. Again, there are other options you could go with. Edison could be a potential shout because Man City do have Fulham at home, Wolves away, Southampton at home, Bournemouth away, and then Brighton away. So I could kind of understand that, and if you wanted to go that way, completely understand it 100%. I just feel like City are lacking that defense since Rodri's out for the rest of the season. I just feel like it's a little bit less, I guess, attractive of a defense to target, but you could go that way if you wanted to. Obviously, Raya is 5.6, so you are paying as 0.1 more for Raya. Obviously, I've got him for 5.5 because I bought him in when he was that price. So if you did want to go for a cheaper option, Edison is also, like I say, a decent option you could go with. And then around, I think it's around game week, when the fixtures all get like different. I think game week 12, when City have Spurs at home, that's when Arsenal's fixtures start getting like really good again, because they've got Forest at home and then West Ham away. So that is something you could do. You would be locking yourself into a transfer, but at the same time, I think it justifies it, because like I say, you'd have a really nice kind of sea of green fixtures for Edison, and then obviously some really nice fixtures for Arsenal. So it depends how you really see it, to be fair. If you don't go with Raya though, maybe double Arsenal defense looks a little bit more appealing. Outfield, so obviously you could go Gabriel and Saliba, but you could always just go one Arsenal player and then maybe bring in like a Havertz and something like that. But again, it's up to you. Edison and Raya, though, very, very good keeper options for a wildcard 7 draft. And then the other goalkeeper option is just Ward, who's got Bournemouth at home. So let me just change that real quick back to David Raya. But again, Edison also a really good shout. It stops you from having to play the Arsenal defence with Liverpool, Newcastle and Chelsea coming up. But again, completely your decision if you are on wildcard. And then yeah, the Ward pick is obviously just a random 4 mil goalkeeper. There aren't any 4 mil goalkeepers that play this season at this point in time, which is a bit unfortunate. So you just have to, I mean, you could rotate to 4.5 mil keepers. You could go somebody like Matt Sells and then a Flecken or something, so that it would save you a bit of money long term, because obviously this is like 10.5, but going to 4.5 mil goalkeepers is 9 mil, so you do save 1.5 mil. No, this is 9.5. Sorry, I can't maths. Never mind. But obviously, you do still save a little bit of money in the kind of long run. But either way, they're the two goalkeepers there. At the back, we've got Gabriel, who's got Southampton at home, Lewis, who's got Fulham at home, Greaves, who's got West Ham away, Van de Ven, who's got Brighton away, and then Nori, who's got Brentford away. So yeah, I mean, the defense is kind of a little bit shaky, just simply because there's no sure start that Lewis is going to be playing in all of these fixtures. But they're just so good, and he's only 4.7. He had a really, really good game in the Champions League last night. Pep spoke really, really highly of him. So going into like the weekend's fixtures, it does look a little bit better for Lewis, but again, he's always prone to rotation. So you always have to have like a bit of a decent backup just in case. And that's why we brought in Nori and Van de Ven as well, because you know that they are like sure starters. Van de Ven, again, the Spurs defense is very, very shaky, but we all see what he can do. He's already picked up 2 assists this season, and he's only 4.5 mil as well. And the Spurs fixtures are relatively nice as well. I mean, it could be any 4.5 mil defender. You could go with a Brentford defender this week if you wanted to, but I just like the idea of Van de Ven for 4.5. Spurs defense is a little bit better than Brentford's. I think Brentford's is one of the worst this season, apart from like obviously Southampton and stuff. But yeah, I just like the Van de Ven pick. Obviously, Porro is the best defender to own from that Spurs back line, but I don't think he's worth the extra 1 mil at all. And then I've also gone Greaves as well. Any 4 mil defender will do fine there, but I think Greaves is probably your best option. Maybe I think there's a couple of Ipswich defenders that are actually 4 mil that could be also decent options, but yeah, I just quite like Greaves as a pick there. And I've also gone Nori as well. He's only 4.4 mil. You could go Mikolenko if you wanted to. The fixtures for Everton are also very, very nice, and he will obviously save you 0.1 if you want to do that. But obviously Nori is very, very attacking. Really, really nice fixtures apart from the City one coming up in a couple of game weeks. But obviously that week you would just play You could play anyone really. You could play Gabriel, Lewis, Van de Ven, or Gabriel, Lewis. If Lewis is bench, you could play Greaves, who's got Everton at home, which isn't terrible. So you don't have to play Ignoring that week. But if you did want to play Mikolenko instead, who obviously is a little bit cheaper, then you just go that as well, and you know he saves you 0.1 mil in the bank. So that's the kind of defense there. Again, 8 Norio Mikolenko I think work well, but yeah, any 4.5 mil defender that's got good fixtures coming up also works well. I think Brighton's fixtures get a little bit better soon as well, so he could Dunk, someone like that could always be a player you pick. But again, I think you just need a decent backup of sure defender starters just in case Lewis does get benched, which could happen. You know, he is a City player, so the rotation is very much there. But again, he should get more minutes if he keeps playing well like he did in the Champions League. Obviously, Rodri's out all season, so if he's in favour for Pep, then it's just going to be better for him. And for 4.7 mil, getting into that City defence, as well as how forward Lewis was pushing as well in the Champions League last night, I think it's going to be an absolute bargain if he keeps starting. So that's the back line there. In midfield, we've got Saka, who's got Southampton at home, Rodgers, who's got Man United at home, Semenyo, who's got Leicester away, and Boomer, who's got Wolves at home, and then Palmer, who's got Forest at home as well. So yeah, Saka, I think, is a must-on wildcard this week. Southampton at home is obviously a very nice fixture. Like I say, best of the season, most likely. So yeah, he's probably a captaincy shout this week as well. If Haaland didn't have a good fixture in Fulham at home, then Saka could probably be like your out-and-out captain. I think he's a better option than Palmer this week for captaincy. I think Forest are much better defensively than Southampton, and I think that as a Forest fan, I think we're just going to play that low block. You know, we're just going to try and get him on the counter, so it's not really going to pave into Chelsea's plans like Brighton did. Like Brighton kind of just fed into what Chelsea wanted to do, which is why they scored so many goals. But yeah, I mean, Southampton at home is just such a ridiculously good fixture for Saka. I'm very surprised that people are selling Saka this week, because I think he's just easily one of the best options to have in your team this week. And then Rodgers, Man United at home. Yeah, he's been pictured in training, everything like that. Should be absolutely fine. Obviously, we've got more Champions League games to come, so hopefully he doesn't get injured in that. If he does, then obviously we'll have to revisit this. But I think, like I say, best enabler in the game this season. Like Palmer was last season, Rodgers is this season. He's playing 90 minutes basically every single week for a Champions League side, and he's 5.2 mil. I don't even know how much he is now, 5.2. So you'd be biting your hand off at that at the start of the season if someone said that. So I really like him as a pick, and he's got some nice fixtures coming up as well. Like Man United at home is a good fixture for Villa. I think they're going to run riot in that game, and then Fulham away, and then Bournemouth home. And you can always play him in fixtures like Spurs away as well. Like, it's not a terrible fixture for Villa. The Semenyo pick really is whoever you want. Like I've got 0.3 mil in the bank for this kind of last midfielder spot here. So you could go McNeil if you wanted to. I don't think going 3 Everton players is the best. So if I was going to do that, I'd probably get rid of Mikolenko for, like, say, 8 Nori or something like that. But yeah, I think if you wanted to go McNeil, who again is just, I think, a really good option this season. Like, not just because he's off the back of a 15-point haul, but apart from that, he'd also got the 12-point haul against Villa. He got the goal against, he got the assist against Bournemouth, should I say? And his numbers that he's putting up are just ridiculous. Like expected goal involvement of 0.46, 0.47, 0.89, 0.81, 0.66, 0.16 for a 5.6 mil player. Those numbers are absolutely ridiculous. The only reason I went Semenyo is just because he's got the better fixture this week. Like Leicester away is obviously really nice, but if you did want to transfer Semenyo out for McNeil later on down the line, which I think a lot of people will do, then you could just kind of saving yourself that transfer, really. But you could start with Semenyo if like I say, if you really wanted to. I just think Semenyo is the better option this week, but long term McNeil is obviously a much better option, because when Semenyo's got like Liverpool, like, or whoever they've got like 3 really bad fixtures like City and stuff. You've got McNeil, who's got Ipswich, Fulham, and then Southampton. So yeah, I think McNeil's a really good option. I'm going to get rid of Semenyo for McNeil after this week. I think it's just a transfer that a lot of people are going to be making, and like I say, you can just save yourself a transfer if you do it now. And then Mbumo, who's got Wolves at home, again, one of the better midfielder picks this season as well, like especially on penalties. With Tony not in the team, I think he's just an out-and-out great option to have. He's already got quite a few goals this season as well. He's back off a 9-point haul against West Ham, 8 points, 14 points, 9 points. He's only blanked twice this season, and that was against City and Liverpool. So like I say, 2 of the toughest fixtures you're going to have, really. Both away fixtures as well, so it doesn't matter if he's blanking against them, because they do have some really nice fixtures coming up. Like I say, he's on penalties. They're scoring in the first couple of minutes every single game. I don't know what's going on, but if he keeps carrying on like that, then yeah, the points are just going to keep coming through for Brentford. And then the last option is Cole Palmer, and I understand that the fixtures aren't the best for Palmer, in the next 5. Obviously, Forest home is, I still expect him to get something in that game. Even as a Forest fan, I think that Chelsea will win, as much as I don't want to say it. But yeah, apart from that, like Liverpool away, again, tough fixture. But then Newcastle at home, you know, they've not been great defensively. Man United, I think he's absolutely going to haul in that game. Honestly, I think he's absolutely going to go big in that game. And then Arsenal at home. The only issue is with this draft, you've only got like 0.2 mil in the bank. So if you're not going Cole Palmer, it's not like you can upgrade to a Salah or someone unless you do something else with your team. And I just don't think it's really that worth it. I just think that Palmer is going to be a set and forget player this season. He scored the most points last season. I think we now need to start seeing him as a Salah, as a Haaland, you know, a player that is not a must need, but a player that a lot of people are going to have. He's a captaincy shout every single week, and he generally will hurt your rank if you don't have him. I think he's one of those players. Like, usually it's just Haaland and Salah that's in the conversation, but I think Cole Palmer has to be in that conversation now as well. And to have Salah, Haaland and Palmer is very difficult. So you kind of have to pick a couple of them. Like, obviously there's a couple of premiums in this midfield with Saka and Palmer, and like I say, finding the extra 2.7 mil or whatever to go from Saka to Salah, it's like, where are you going to get that from? You're just going to have to absolutely destroy the rest of the team. You can't have all three. And I just think that I personally think this season Palmer is a better option than Salah. And I know that might be a bit of a hot take, and I understand completely because Salah is so good, but I just like Palmer is just one of the best players in the league. And I'm not just saying that because he's just got a ridiculous haul, but he just did it last season. You know, it was his first season for Chelsea and he absolutely smashed it. Most points in FPL last season, and it wouldn't surprise me if he got the most this season as well. But I just think he's a really good asset. You could go somebody else if you wanted to, but that's the midfield. And then up top, we've got Calvert-Lewin, who's got Newcastle at home, Haaland, who's got Fulham at home, and then Solanke, who's got Brighton away. So I really like this front three. Obviously, an Ollie Watkins would be really nice to have into this team, but again, he's another player that you'd have to rip your team apart to get in. Like, you don't really want to get rid of Saka for Southampton at home. Palmer's got Forest at home. You could get rid of one of them if you wanted to and bring Watkins in, but I don't think the Watkins fixtures are the best. And obviously his minutes are going to be managed a bit now with Champions League. Obviously Duran's playing really well. I don't think he's a 90-minute player that is going to be like getting you points every single week. I know that he's obviously in red hot form at the moment, but I think with the Champions League fixtures and stuff, he will start getting managed. Like, obviously Rodgers got managed this weekend that's just gone. I mean, that was because of a tight hamstring, but that could easily have been Watkins that came off for Duran. And it's just one of those situations. So I really like Watkins as an option, but I don't know how I'd get to him with this kind of draft. You'd have to get rid of, again, one of your premium assets, and I just don't think it's worth it. So yeah, Calvert-Lewin's in there. Obviously Haaland's in the draft as well. With the fixtures that they've got coming up, I think if you don't have Haaland in your team, it's going to hurt, because he's probably just going to get captained for the next 5. Like, Fulham at home, Wolves away, Southampton at home, Bournemouth away, Brighton away. Who else are you captaining in any of those fixtures? It's Haaland set and forget for the next 5 at least. So yeah, you definitely have to have him in your team. And then Solanke, I think, is a really nice option as well. They've got some pretty good fixtures coming up. Brighton away, who obviously Chelsea just did really well against. West Ham at home, Palace away, Villa at home, and then Ipswich at home. Just really nice from a Spurs kind of standpoint. So obviously no Liverpool players in this draft, which again isn't ideal, but at the same time, you generally can't have everyone. It's just impossible this season, which I prefer because it just makes it so much better. Like, there's going to be crazy swings every single week. Like, maybe some weeks Salah will go big, some weeks Palmer will go big. You know, some weeks Saka will go big, and it's just one of those things. Like, it's just how you're going to play it. For my team, it's just attacking the fixtures. You know, you get the assets in for the fixtures, really. You know, I think Liverpool have a really good run coming up in like 5 game weeks or something like that, and that's when you kind of jump on the Liverpool players or something like that. But either way, that's going to be the wildcard draft for game week 7. Obviously, we do have midweek fixtures, so it could change if there are injuries or anything. But as of right now, this is the sort of draft that I would go with if I was on my wildcard for game week 7. But either way, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 100 likes. Leave a comment. Are you wildcarding this week? Subscribe if you're brand new. And until next time, peace.